Rain. We're hanging out here at the Sheraton Grand Hotel in Los Angeles. We've got a great show for you for the next half hour. Some great college basketball wins for some local in-state teams, and we've also got the latest on the Utah Jazz as well.
Yeah, and of course we're following every step the Utes are taking here as they get ready for the Rose Bowl. This morning we had a lot of fun with them at Rose Bowl Media Day. We'll share some of those fun conversations that we had with the players and coaches coming up a bit later on in the show.
Well, we have to start with bowl games, and of course there's some pretty good games going on New Year's Eve, including the Fiesta Bowl, which is, of course, one half of the college football playoff semifinal.
Yeah, Michigan, they really had a dream season, a 13-0 record. They won the Big Ten championship, a blowout win over their hated rival, Ohio State. But the surprise of the season might be TCU. Just one loss all year. They're the Big 12 champs in the playoffs for the first time. An
old Mountain West foe of BYU and Utah. Michigan favored to win this. And now we're all asking ourselves, why was that? The TCU made a statement in Glendale in a first quarter, the TCU defense finding the end zone first. Bud Clark with a 41-yard pick six. TCU would take a 21-6 lead into the locker room when Max Duggan finds Tay Barber for a 6-yard touchdown. Michigan would try a second half rally. They pull out all the stops. A flea flicker, J.J. McCarthy to Ronnie Bell. And with that, Michigan was within 5, 21-16. But then the Horned Frogs answer in a big way. After a 1-yard touchdown run, D. Winters picks off McCarthy. TCU's second pick six of the game. It was 34-16. It didn't end in a touchdown, but TCU running back Amari DeMarcado with an impressive 69-yard run to set up another TCU score. It was 41-22, but here comes Michigan. After 1-yard touchdown run, 2-point conversion and fumble recovery, they get Roman Wilson into the end zone, helicoptering his way in. It was 41-38 at that point, but once again, TCU would have an answer. Max Duggan almost got sacked. Instead, he tosses a check down to Quentin Johnson, who turns this into a 76-yard touchdown and a 10-point TCU lead. And the Horned Frogs hold on. How about this story? They're going to play the winner of Georgia and Ohio State for a national championship. That game just going fun.
Well, Alabama has played in a New Year's Six game or a playoff in 11 of the past 12 seasons. Back in the Sugar Bowl today against Kansas State, and K-State starts with a big play. Already up 3-0 in the first quarter when Deuce Vaughn takes off for an 88-yard touchdown. He finished the day with 133 yards and that score, but the Wildcats' lead wouldn't hold up. Bryce Young floats one deep downfield for Jermaine Burton. In the second quarter, gets down to the 2-yard line on that deep ball. The next play, Young goes to former Olympus Titan Cameron Latu for the go-ahead touchdown. It's 14-0 Bama. Then just before the half ends, another touchdown pass from Bryce Young. This to Burton for the 21-10 halftime lead. In the second half, the Tide kept things rolling. Young with the perfect 32-yard pass to Ja'Cory Brooks for a 28-10 lead. Jason McClellan would give Bama their 5th touchdown on a 17-yard touchdown run. Bryce Young threw for 321 yards and 5 touchdowns. Alabama wins the Sugar Bowl 45-20.
The Music City Bowl in Nashville. Not much trauma in this one, especially compared to the other two games. Iowa and Kentucky. Without starting quarterback Will Levis, Kentucky didn't stand a chance. He's getting ready for the NFL draft. Iowa takes advantage. The Hawkeye defense scoring 2 touchdowns. Xavier Wampa with the first, a 52-yard pick six. Then they'd get another pick six in the second quarter. Cooper DeJean, 14 yards. All 21 points scored in the second quarter. And the Hawkeyes roll in the Music City Bowl. All right, now back to the Rose Bowl and our Rose Bowl coverage. Great game we expect between Utah and Penn State. One advantage Utah has in this game against Penn State is familiarity.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Most of the key players, in fact, all the key players on the roster, they were here 1 year ago. They know the drill. They understand what's going on this week. There's really no surprises.
Really not for the Utes. Last year was magical for the team, but also included a lot of firsts. The school had never been to a Rose Bowl, never experienced a New Year's Day bowl game with this group, and all the hype and hoopla that surrounds the experience. They showed well against Ohio State, but now here the second time around, there are no surprises. It's all familiar, and the team is laser focused on finishing what they started last year. They're here to bring home a Rose Bowl trophy.
You want to enjoy the bowl experience, but I think a lot of us are thinking of this as a business trip.
All the festivities were new to us last year, and it definitely is a business trip. It feels more like that more than a trip this year. So when it's time to work, it's time to work. When it's time to have fun, but not too much fun, you know?
Because we've been here before, like if you talk to juniors, it seems like everyone's more focused on the game than last year, for sure.
We've been preparing for this for forever now, since last January when we lost a game. So
I remember seeing them celebrate and have the ceremony right after, and then seeing that as I walked off the field, and that's kind of just been engraved in my head ever since, and want to be on the other side of it now.
You know, not a lot of people could say they've been to 2 Rose Bowls, let alone back-to-back Rose Bowls. So obviously we want a different outcome this year, and that's the only thing that's pushing us right now, is that we want to win, and we want the feeling of being on the other end where we're celebrating and the confetti's falling down on us.
Now, we've seen the steps Utah has taken over the past decade since becoming a Pac-12 school, from Power 5 newcomer to perennial Pac-12 title contender, and now it's on to the next level. Another big step can be taken with a Utah win over Penn State. This program doesn't want to just be known as Pac-12 champions or even Rose Bowl winners. They want to be listed among the premier programs in the country.
More than anything, great for our program. Our program, we want to establish ourselves as one of the elites in the country, and to be coming back to a New Year's Six bowl game twice in a row is an amazing experience, and I think that it's kind of indicative of the trajectory of our program.
We pride ourselves in being the toughest team in the pack. Well, you know what, now we have a chance to prove ourselves on a national stage, that we are really tough and aggressive.
This will come as no surprise. Stevenson Sylvester is here in L.A. for the Rose Bowl and joins us as he always does for our Utah coverage. Big game, Sly, and it's good to have you here with us.
Thanks, man. This is going to be awesome. Been here all week. It's very exciting.
Now, we just heard the Utah players talking about how they want this program to become one of the premier programs in the country. Can Utah take that step?
Oh, yes, most definitely. It's what we've always wanted, you know, even back in my day. Yeah. Back in my days, what we wanted to be is to be respected amongst the nation as one of the top premier schools, and we've now become that. You know, in the late 90s, we're a basketball program. I think over the last 20 years, what Coach Whittingham and Coach Urban Meyer has done with this football team is put them on the map as perennial football powerhouses. I think a lot of people fear us when they play us, and that's exactly what you want.
Sly, this program's always been trying and working very hard to take the next step. You guys took the next step after they broke in the BCS. You beat Alabama in a Sugar Bowl. Now for the program, the next step is a Rose Bowl trophy. How much would this trophy, winning it, not just being here, mean for the program?
It would mean everything. We've seen what the recruiting, you know, it's definitely transcended way up, you know, since last year. Last year, the Rose Bowl, we've gotten amazing recruits, and you see what good personnel does for your football team. You know, you can waver, you can have bad days, but the depth that we have when guys get injured, guys are able to step in and accomplish things, is all an attribution to us recruiting well, having depth, and playing well.
Now, Utah returns with Cam Rising at quarterback once again. This is a kid, he talked earlier this week about growing up here in Southern California, how important it would be for him and how big of a moment it would be for him to raise that Rose Bowl trophy on Monday. What's the key for Rising to have success this week?
It's just be him. Honestly, studying film, he doesn't have to do anything outstanding. I think Coach Ludwig and Cam Rising have a unique relationship, and I think that, you know, Coach Whittingham and Coach Ludwig are safe to say they gave Cam Rising the keys to let him do what he does best, and he is the leader. One thing that I've seen or heard the last 2 years is Coach Whittingham say he is the alpha dog, and when he's the alpha dog, he's able to make things. He understands when we need to run it, when we need to pass it, and leaving the keys to a guy like that is awesome. But as you guys said, he's from California. He plays really well out here. Last year, USC, Rose Bowl. This year, UCLA, he played well besides a couple plays. So I think that I talked to him yesterday at practice. He's excited to be back here in California, so expect a good game out of him.
Did he tell you if this is going to be his last game as a Ute or not? Seems like he's going back and forth on that.
Man, no, he's not letting anybody know, so he's good on that. But, you know, the longer he takes, the more I think he's just loving being here in the program. So my hopes is that he stays.
Well, stay tuned on that. We're not done with Sly. He's back in the next segment to talk about defense. We got to take a short break. When we come back, college hoops action.
Yeah, big weekend of college football. Also happens to be a big weekend of college hoops here.
Utes, Aggies, Wildcats, Wolverines, Trailblazers, and Thunderbirds, who went home with a win on New Year's Eve.
And we had some fun this morning with several Utah players and coaches at Rose Bowl Media Day. We'll share that with you next.
We received some tragic news late last night. BYU offensive lineman Sione Vicoso has passed away. He was involved in a construction accident back home in Hawaii. A retaining wall collapsed. 3 others were seriously injured. Sione was pronounced dead at the scene. He was a transfer from Arizona State and was projected to be a starter in 2023. He served a mission in Brazil. Sione was 22 years old. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family and the entire BYU football program. Welcome back to Los Angeles. Things are getting serious now in college basketball. Conference play is now underway.
Yeah, all 7 Division I programs in the state in action on New Year's Eve, starting off with the Runnin' Utes, who are 3-0 to start off Pac-12 conference play this season. Today, the Utes were on the road against a Stanford team that has lost 5 of its last 7. We jump right into this one in the second half with Utah center Brandon Carlson making some history. He gets the dunk for the 41-30 lead, giving him 999 points. So you know what that means. Moments later, the jump hook by Carlson to put the former Bingham Miner over 1,000 points for his career, the 41st player in Utah history to reach that mark. Lazar Stefanovic came off the bench to lead Utah with 20 points. Utah held off a late Stanford rally for the 71-66 win.
Utah State opening up Mountain West play against Fresno State. Second half, a 2-point Aggie lead. Max Shulga to Trevin Dorius for the two-handed slam. The third leading scorer in the Mountain West is Steven Ashworth. He had a nice game, gets a friendly roll on the floater. And then Ashworth's going to save the ball from going out of bounds in the corner, turns around and hits a triple. 4 minutes left, trying to put the game away. Ashworth hit another deep 3, and the Aggies win and bump their overall record to 12-2.
What was once a bitter rivalry in JUCO's Region 18 is now renewed in the WAC at the Division I level. Utah Valley hosting Utah Tech. Late second half, Justin Nichols scores to put Utah Tech within 2 points of Utah Valley, 56-54. But how's this for an answer? Trey Woodbury with the dunk. He led the Wolverines with 20 points. Utah Valley went on an 11-1 run to close the game out. Latrey Dartard scored 5 of his 18 in that run. The Wolverines get the win 71-60. They're now 11-4.
Weber State hosting Northern Arizona. The Wildcats fell behind in the first half, but Junior Ballard would lead a rally. It was an 18-3 run to take the lead. Ballard had 16 points off the bench. In the second half, the Wildcats were down 1 when Dylan Jones comes up with a steal, and Dylan Jones would then come up with a nice dunk. Later on, Zahir Porter would find Alex Chu for a dunk, and 8-0 Wildcats run. Weber State led by as much as 20, and they get the win. Now 2-0 in Big Sky play.
Well, one of the reasons why Utah won back-to-back Pac-12 titles this year is because of their defense, Jay.
Absolutely. You know, it took a while, though, this season for the Utes to find their groove on defense. You remember, there were some weaknesses that were exposed early in the season. 2 early season losses to Florida and UCLA. But since the second quarter against USC, the Utah defense has been flat-out dominant. They haven't allowed more than 24 points in a game since. They've been disruptive, forcing turnovers, scoring points on defense, and getting after the quarterback. That included 7 sacks of the Heisman Trophy winner in the Pac-12 championship game. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Los Angeles. Jeremiah, Jensen, Sam Farnsworth, and Stevenson Sylvester here on Game KSL Sports Live. So many shows that I can't keep track of all of them that we do together. We're having fun here in Los Angeles. We're getting ready for Utah versus Penn State in this bowl game in the Granddaddy Mall, the Rose Bowl. And I wanted to ask you, Sly, about their defense, because earlier in the year, we talked about it before the commercial break. Florida defense wasn't great. UCLA, oh my gosh, that was a problem. What happened during the season to now where they were getting 7 sacks against the Heisman Trophy winner? How did they mature? How did they get better?
Well, it's what anybody can attest to, right? Yeah. Experience is the greatest teacher. Mm-hmm. These guys just had time, under tension, together, understanding exactly what it takes play to play. There's a lot of new faces in different places. Losing guys like Devin Lloyd and Nephi Sewell, those were the leaders of the defense as far as communication goes, as far as getting everybody set up and pre-snap. And so when you lose that confidence, it takes a little while to find out who's going to be that guy to communicate. So for me, communication is most important in the biggest team sport in the world. I feel like, Utah needs all 11 players to be on the same page, and they weren't early in the game. And I think Morgan Scalley, Sharif Shaw, Lewis Powell, Colton Swan, these coaches have done a tremendous job of getting these guys to learn how to play together.
Yeah, and clearly one of the big parts of this defense all season and their success was the All-American Clark Phillips, who has chosen to forego this bowl game to pursue his NFL future. His teammates this week, they were all very supportive of him in their decision. They still love the guy, but there is a hole that needs to be filled now by the Utah defense.
No question. Clark gave his all, to this program, so you could be nothing but appreciative and respect his decision on doing things like this. And I think we're going to be fine. This is things that I think the Utah recruiting staff, the Utah coaching staff prepare for. A man goes down. Coach Whittingham has said it many times, next man up. That was the mentality when I played here at Utah, and I bet that's still the same mentality here. So the depth on this football team is amazing. But, I think Zamiah Vaughn and JT Broughton has done a tremendous job this season of growing up. From last year to this year, from the beginning of the season to now, the defense is rolling on all cylinders, especially in the secondary. I think that, Cole Bishop, R.J. Hubert, Clayton Isbell, Sione Vaki in the back end, in the safety position, all these guys are playing really well together. And we've seen different things. Morgan Scalley could come out with something completely different that we haven't seen, in prior weeks. We can come with multiple safeties, multiple linebackers. This is a very young team, and they're gelling at the right time. This is perfect for Utah football.
It'll be interesting to see that one defensive player who really steps up in this game and helps the Utes get a big win over Penn State. Sly, enjoy the game. We'll see you back here on Sunday night on KSL Sports Live. All right, Utah's called this a business trip, right? But that doesn't mean they aren't having a lot of fun.
No, this week started off with a trip to Disneyland. They had the Lowry's Beef Bowl, and then this morning was Rose Bowl Media Day, which was a lot of fun as well. In fact, we were able to have some fun with them, and here's some of those conversations. With photo day today, team photo day, who on the team takes the most time to make sure they're looking good, looking clean, ready for that picture?
I'm going to go with Makai. Yeah. He a light skin, so, he want to be pretty in his pictures.
Oh, can I put this right here real quick? Go for it. Hey, you like that? Does that mean I can play on Monday? I guess not.
What position you want to play? That's a question. Because if it's running back, I'm going to say no.
Hey, we were just talking to Jaquindon about team photo day today, and I asked him, straight up, hey, who's making sure they're looking good, looking clean for this picture? And he's like, oh, Makai. Makai's making sure he's looking good.
I am, but, my hair not done right now. That's why I got this beanie on. I didn't get a fresh retwist. I'm going to say him. Because he was over there. Where my earrings at?
I don't know.
I can't find my earrings. So he's my roommate, so I was helping him. Well, I wasn't helping him. I was just watching him search, but I think it's him.
Who in the quarterback room is taking the most time to make sure they're looking right for pictures?
100% this guy right here.
Come on now. I woke up and came downstairs after I brushed my hair a little bit. We're good to go. Yeah, I know you had a little night.
Nah, I ain't gonna lie. I woke up, had to make sure these was right, make sure these were straight.
Familiar with the term drip, right? Like clothes, like.
I guess. Moxie.
Yeah. Who has the best moxie out of all the coaching staff?
Ooh.
2 hours later.
Sharif Shaw, sitting right over there at the corner table. Without a doubt. Would you say that? Oh, Shaw?
Unbelievable that he just went past me right there.
But we're the least drip right here.
Life like this sure is sweet, huh?
It definitely is, man.
I found out from Morgan that you got the drip.
Say it again, that I got the what?
The drip.
No, not me. Not me. Not me. No, not me. That's an absolute incorrect statement. What we need to make certain that we're aware of
is that there are certain coaches that have the moxie, the drip, however you want to frame it. But really, it's the kids, not me. You see that? It's JT. It's my man. Look at that. Look at this. My boy from Florida over there. You see, he don't even want to put his stuff out. That's Scooby. Now, that's what you need to know. I'm just over here just being a custodian, just watching, hanging out.
What are your resolutions for this year?
To go 1-0.
Said it. I can't say it better than that right there. Yep.
The Utah Jazz are on a bit of a skid. Can they end the slide tonight with a game back home? We'll look at that matchup with the Heat coming up next.
That great start to the season for the Utah Jazz, now a distant memory. They've come crashing back down to earth and look more like the lottery team we expected them to be this season.
Yeah, they're now 19-19 on the season, 10th in the Western Conference after last night's heartbreaking loss to the Kings.
Oh, yeah, that was a rough one. That's 3 straight losses for the Jazz and 13 of their last 20. The highlight of the game for the Jazz was a 36-point night for Larry Markkinen as he continues to make an all-star case. His dunk over Domantas Sabonis may be the dunk of the year so far for the Jazz. Tonight, they'll try to end that losing skid by ending the calendar year.